Whoa! Welcome to the What's Up Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-hosts Mattson and
Better read than dead.
and Alec Burgess.
Let's get it.
We appreciate you tuning in. Go ahead and hit that follow, subscribe, like, bell notification buttons. Tell a friend about us. Tell family members about us. Tell some rogue
Goonies.
teenagers. Goonies. Yeah, tell some Goonies about us. We know what those are. Go tell them about us. Don't tell Fratellis about us. That's we're criminal enough on this joint without their help. But yeah, I'm also gonna change it up here. Like, I'm gonna steal a little of your thunder up front.
Do it.
And then you can do it on the back end. But I'm gonna try. I want to see. Go see our Patreon. You can vote on our movies for free. So if you don't like the fact that we're doing the Goonies, which if that's the case, you should probably leave anyway. But if you don't like it, you want to help pick our movies, you can do that there for free, or you can spend a little money and help support the podcast and get all sorts of crazy stuff that we do behind the scenes, and me screwing shit up before we start recording, and crazy stories of animal cruelty, and not really.
Yeah, turns out I'm not the psychopath.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway,
Who would have thunk?
Hey,
check
well,
us
you
out on
didn't share
Patreon.
your stories, Alex, so
That's
the
true.
audience doesn't really know.
You're the only one that had to worry about the statute of limitations on your childhood stories. So
Tell you stories about animals that I didn't murder.
that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, so go check it out. There's our shameless plug at the beginning. Want to see if we get some people. I'd love to. We'd love to have some variety in our voting booth, and then if some different ideas. So go check it out. With that, week 4 of summer movies, summer kickoff movies. I don't know, just summer movies. I think is good. And this week's a doozy. We're hitting it off with the Goonies. It was released. Oh, I did my thing. Look at me looking like a moron again.
Oh,
It's
how
that kind of
It was
embarrassing.
released in 1985.
June 7th, to be exact, in
Yes.
1985.
Oh.
It was written by Christopher Columbus and Steven Spielberg, and it was directed by Richard Donner. Stars Sean Astin, Josh Brolin, Jeff Cohen, Corey Feldman, Cary Green, Martha Plimpton, Ki-Hu Kwan, John Matusak. I love that name. Robert Davey, Joe Pantoliano, and Anne Ramsey. It's about a group of young misfits called the Goonies who discover an ancient map and set out on an adventure to find a legendary pirate's long-lost treasure. Great synopsis, and the fact that you can give a one-sentence synopsis just tells me that this movie's great. I love it. This was my pick because Mattson foregoed it. He fucking gave it up because he voted too many, and so he chose other 3. So I stole it. It was on my list to begin with, but I always let these knuckleheads choose first, which has been much to my demise a couple of times.
Yeah,
But
whatever. JJ screws
You
us
love
up,
our
right?
movie
Yeah.
picks.
no, I'm meaning you guys will pick them, and I go, God damn it! Now I got to figure something else out for the topic. So I was happy that this one stayed on it, because this may be my favorite childhood movie of all time. It's arguably my favorite childhood movie of all time. Sandlot's up there, but this one I think probably got watched as much as the Star Wars saga, which for me, anyone that knows me, these guys will attest, that's saying a lot. So I love this movie. It's hilarious. It's relatable. It's wild. It's all over the place. It's out there. It's ridiculous, but it's goddamn a good time. And it's funny. And it's just like, it's wholesome and it's fun. And I just like relate to it. Again, we talked about this in the last podcast, but the hijinks that I got up to as a kid, like, it takes me back to that, even though we didn't do anything as ridiculous as go pirate hunting and run into criminals and go into caves and shit. But man, we did some dumb shit. So it's like, it's just real fun. And I just enjoy it.
Have you been to where they filmed a lot of this in Oregon?
I have. In fact, as you know, there's a plan to possibly move there at some point. Like this, Astoria, Oregon is where Casey and I have looked at a lot of properties there about, hey,
Trying to get
there.
JJ move a little bit more north than that, but
Yeah,
still a
trying.
lot closer than where he is.
But I love it there. The temps are great. The weather's great. It's perfect for me. So yeah, we've been looking at it. But yeah, I love this movie. I think it's great. I think it's funny. I think for a bunch of child actors, they're really good. And like, it's rare that you get this many child actors that are this good in one place, and it's fun. And then the
All right,
adults are
JJ,
fun,
some
so.
trivia for
Yeah.
you. Which actor in this movie, and this, it's not like a little known actor, like which one of these actors made their debut in this film?
Debut? I would have assumed that a lot of them, but
Sean Astin.
Not a bad guess, JJ.
I'm gonna say Cohen, Jeff Cohen.
Close. It was Joshy Brolin.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I did not know that. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Thinking of all these childhood that many of them, I mean, went on to do some very big things. I mean, two of them, Josh Brolin and Sean Astin, are, I mean, legendary. But Ke-Huy Quan, I mean, one of the most annoying actors that I can think of, but also one of the most iconic.
Well, I love his resurgence. Like, it
but
makes
I
me
will
happy.
I will say, yes, I was about to say his resurgence has been quite, but I should say one of the most, but I still, Dr. Joe. I mean, he just had he just had his thing, but you can't have the movies without it. But like, when I look at this cast, I'm like, oh my gosh, like they killed it. But also, another trivia question. How do I ask this without? I mean, I can't. It's already. I've already kind of given it away. But I'm curious, JJ. Did you know that the pirate ship in this film was actually built to scale? 105 feet. The cast did not see it until they finally shot those scenes.
Yeah, when they turn around and it's like, oh fuck, like that was real reaction. I know because they did a documentary, or there was some filming where they did an interview with a bunch of these guys and they talked about that. Yeah.
Not a trivia question, but last question for you. What is your favorite Chunk scene?
Oh, dude, it's the Truffle Shuffle. It's so tough though, because the Truffle Shuffle's great. There's three. There has to be three. The Truffle Shuffle, when he fucking runs through the door, and then when he fucking knocks over the water thing, and he's like, I got it. I don't got it. Like, I use that line my whole life. Like, I'll say some shit and like, nope, didn't do it. So yeah, I can't narrow it down to one. But the Truffle Shuffle still to this day makes my fat ass laugh. Like,
yeah, I was going to ask if that was like, if you
laugh.
just resonate with that in ways that I never could.
Well, as an adult, yes. As a kid, I wasn't fat. So I didn't when I was a kid, other than I had some fat friends. And so I was like, well, I'm going to make them do the Truffle Shuffle. But as a fat adult, yeah, I love that shit. And I've been asked as, once I got fat, Truffle Shuffle, which I've done quite a few times. Enough alcohol, or a good friend of mine named Mary Jane, and I'll definitely Truffle Shuffle. No questions. But yeah, I love Chunk. He's my favorite.
Speaking of that, one of my, I don't remember when I came across him, probably like 6 years ago. There's a band that's called Chunk No Captain Chunk, and they have some of my favorite songs. And like a lot of their songs, they started with, they take out that little sound bite, and so I think of the Goonies probably almost weekly because of that, and it just makes me laugh. But for me, I'm trying to remember when I first saw this. I saw this movie a lot later, probably like early teens, maybe, or like late childhood, something like that. My older siblings had seen this and talked a lot about this movie. This movie falls in line with the type of movies I like Indiana Jones style. So I love this movie. I think it's just like a kid version of what I love about Indiana Jones of a sense. I don't think it doesn't carry the nostalgia level that it has for JJ. If I had seen it even earlier on, or especially growing up with that, this movie would probably be within my top 10 for sure. But that's not saying this isn't a good movie. I just don't have that deep rooted nostalgia feel, but it's a fun movie. Just like we talked about Sandlot the week prior, this movie makes you want to go back and find that adventure that you found, that you imagine. You're like, man, they actually did it. Granted, I mean, it's not going to go that way. You're not going to find someone like Sloth and all those different things, but it's great. Like, I think it just epitomizes what you wish you would have found as a kid and gone on that journey and beat the bad guys and experience that as a friend group and had that for the rest of your lives. I think it's like the anti-It movie, because it is like something like that, and they have like the trauma with that, but this one is like fun, and yeah, they're in danger, but like, it doesn't ever really feel like that. It's the type of childhood adventure we wish we always had.
Yeah. Alec, what about you? I'm always intrigued when we do older movies, because I know you love old movies. I know you love hinky shit like this, like I do. And so I'm always curious, but I never know, because sometimes you like find things really goofy and then you're like, fuck this thing. So I'm curious.
No, I like the Goonies, but I like the weird parts of the Goonies.
Okay.
Like Sloth is amazing.
Sloth's great.
I love Sloth.
Oh yeah.
But it's what really like this movie is, it's like they take child actors, but instead of making them act like adults, they let them act like kids.
Yeah.
And so like the truffle shuffle, or like, picking on your fat friend and not letting them eat until he does the truffle shuffle.
Yeah.
That's a kid thing. And then, I mean, they just turn it up the entire, just let the kids loose almost. And so, like, another really funny one, or funny part of the movie that I enjoy, it's not supposed to be funny, but when the Fratellis have Chunk and they're trying to make him talk.
Oh, yeah,
He starts telling his life story.
Yeah. It's
like,
so good.
Like, it feels like Steven Spielberg or whoever has actually directed this, like, hey, just go. And just let Chunk do Chunk. And so you have this thing where they're not trying to force these child actors to play adult roles. They just let them act like they naturally would have as kids. And, you got your buddies together and you're goofing off and you're, picking on your older brother or whatever, ganging up on him. And so it's cool in that sense, where they kind of captured this, feeling of the kids are allowed to be kids throughout this movie, and they're not held to some adult standard while they're acting. They're just like, turn on the camera, let's go.
Yeah, that's a good point. They don't make them older than they need to be, because I've seen some other movies where you're like, wow, they're so mature, and they're like, which can work in some settings, but you that's what makes this movie great, is like you can identify who you would be in that group and kind of relive through that.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that, Alec, I like too that it makes the fact that they let them be goofy and silly and carefree and not understand half the time the danger that they're actually in, as kids do. It also makes the very mature and adult moments that they have as kids that more poignant. Like, one of my favorite parts, even as a kid, and now even more so as an adult, is when Mouth gives his Penny speech in the wishing well part, where he's like, no, this one's mine and I'm taking it back. Like that's one of those things where as a kid, like, and even Mattson, to your point, when we were talking about Sandlot, you talk, I'd love to go back there and, be that level of a kid, because adulting sucks. And sometimes we forget that as an adult, we're like, man, life is so challenging and we have so many responsibilities, that being a kid was so much more carefree and fun. But as kids, we had our own sets of issues, right? Like, we had our own things that made life difficult. And especially like a group of kids like this, where they're dealing with something that they don't fully understand, other than the fact that they know that they're going to have to move and that their parents are having a hard time. And like, so often, I don't think kids get the credit for how much they can see how difficult it is for their parents and the struggles that they're having. And so to watch Mouth have that moment, and then you have, even like every one of them, and I think that's another thing I love about this movie, is every one of these kids gets at least a moment, right, to shine in a comedic way and then in a serious way. And it works every single time. And I think because these characters are so relatable, and I'm attached to these guys, right? Like I want to go hang out with this group of kids. And now I want to go hang out with these group of adults. You see them as adults. They've done interviews. I'm like, fuck, I want to go chat with these guys, because they still look like they have a good time. And bust Jeff Cohen's ass now, even though he's skinny as hell. But it's like, yeah, I just think I think what is done in this movie, and it's a testament to Christopher Columbus, Chris Columbus's writing and Steven Spielberg's writing, the fact that they have those moments and they hit so hard that you're like, yeah, man, go deeper into the cave. Like, figure it out. Like, Goonies never say die. And the fact that she sends up that sweater and that, like, I just love all the back and forth that you can have such a great time, but then you have moments where you're like, oh man, this is about a serious thing. Like, they're in a serious situation and they're kids and they don't get it fully, but we as adults do, right? So it's interesting. I love that part of the movie. That, and it's just funny, like mouth sticking his tongue through the painting. It's so disrespectful. And then the last 2 weeks, I was always wondered, but it's me, so I'm going to bring it up. I was like, do I ever bring this out? But I'm gonna, because it's me. We have 2 movies now that, if you think about it, there were some serious age gap relationships happening. We had Sandlot, the freaking
Windy
Peppercorn.
Yeah, Whitney Peppercorn.
Oh, honeys.
And then there's was Brand, were you standing in a hole? Like, she's making out with his little brother. Like, oh God. So
hey, that's the 80s were
the 80s,
early 90s. They really wanted those what wouldn't have been, like, if you were in your 20s, it wouldn't have mattered, but when it's like the great divide when you're 13 and they're 17, right? That shit matters in many ways. Like, you're a 14-year-old, you want to be hanging out with a person a grade lower than you. Your cool meter drops by like 50.
Yeah, good old Mikey. So funny. And I love that he's like stumbling and shit after.
You gotta shoot your shot, though.
Yeah, love it. So many good moments. Like, I could sit and talk about this one, like freaking Data when he pinches of power as the freaking goofy dental teeth like save his ass. Or the boxing glove that hits, like, knocks him back down the hill, the Fratellis. Like, it's just so many stupid moments that are just so entertaining and fun, and as goofy as they are, like shit in a normal movie that would bother me, like in this one it doesn't. Like, one specifically, like, Casey always gives me shit because she's only like, she doesn't love this movie because it's not her kind of thing. She didn't have this fun-loving childhood that I can remember, and so it's one of those things where it's true.
Little drag, just a fun sucker.
Well, no, she looks at this and goes, I didn't have that kind of fun when I was a kid. Like, we did other things, but it wasn't that. And so, like, I'm always like, yeah, this is so relatable to me. But, like, I don't usually love movies that put stupid sound effects that don't need to be there. Like, when he hits him with the glove and he shakes his head and it's like normally that'll piss me off, but it just makes me laugh in this movie. Just because it just doesn't have a place for it. Or like when they're on the log and he squirts the oil on the tree log, and they like the really high pitched noise of them slipping. Like, to me, it just adds value to this movie because of the extremes, right?
There's a little 12-year-old JJ inside just making his way out.
Telling you, it's so funny. It's great stuff. And the one-liners in this, dude, oh my gosh, there's just so many of them, whether it's funny or serious. Like, I go back to the moment we were talking about with Chunk, like when they're standing outside the restaurant and it's locked and he's like talking about these pictures of his sister, and he just gets more and more, that's it. They all move as he goes running through the door, and then all they do is walk in, thanks Chunk, and walk by his ass. Or him smelling, and he's like, I smell Rocky Road. Ice cream. So, yeah.
You already mentioned what I love is when Chunk's just like saying everything, but I think he was finally like, I'll talk. One time in 3rd grade, I cheated on like my history test or something. Just like, it just like spouts off and it makes me so happy. But I mean, there's the most iconic quotes, like, hey, you guys. And then the one that I love, Cobra Kai, and I swear they must have got inspired from Goonies Never Say Die, because Cobra Kai never dies.
Yeah.
The Goonies Never Die, though, like that's the one that always sticks with me, because and hey, you guys are the 2 things that comes up every so often in all say it in conversation or something, or like find a way to weave it in. And they're the most like well-known ones, but they're well-known for a reason.
Yeah. To Alec's point, Sloth is great. Sloth,
Yeah.
love Chunk. And then knocks his ass over. So good. Baby Ruth. Like that's the one that I always. Baby Ruth. Oh, so good. So good. But I think go ahead.
I was gonna say one thing I like about this movie is the practical effects. I mean, to make Sloth look the way that he did, and we talked about the ship that they built. Like it's a Gone Air. You made this movie today, so much CGI, and like can we do great CGI? Yes, but we've talked about this so many times through the years. We've gotten lazy where they can blue screen, green screen things, and I think because we do that so much, it's really you like. I was watching a video on Star Wars Episode 3 when they were doing the lightsaber battle between Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, and like just incredible. Like the fact that they did what they did and talked through it all and moved so far when they were just literally looking at each other, and there was obviously nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing there. And I get to. There's a lot of things in movies where you can't build everything and make it look like that because we don't have the stuff in this earth to make it look like that. But I think nowadays we rely so much on it and just say, hey, go act that. But I'm trying to transport myself in people's shoes like that. If you don't have those surroundings and you can't see, like, man, like just makes it hard to generate those emotions and like the realism. And like Jay said, the cast didn't see the ship until they literally filmed that. And I'm confident it made that scene better. Like especially for a childhood act, like it probably would have been even harder for them to get into the zone. Like, hey, the ship's right there, but you won't see it till we actually release the movie because we have to build it post-production. And that's what I like about movies like Jurassic Park and Goonies and so many other movies we could talk about that came out during this era where they could do special effects, but they didn't rely upon them. They used them as an accent piece and still built a lot of the things relied upon makeup and build the sets. I think there's power in that, and I wish we would get back to some of that because I think it made movies more real and helped actors get into the zones that they needed to. And I think that's part of the magic of this movie because you can see they built like almost everything on this and it worked. Like it looked cool. And that's part of why it stands up to the test of time, because if they did all predominantly CGI back then, we've seen movies that relied a lot on that back then. And it obviously looks terrible. Like The Mummy, for instance, just like they should have just tried to make it without CGI. And they could have fallen in the same pitfall in this movie if they wanted to. It would have been so easy.
Yeah.
It's a long-winded way to say, like, I love that they stayed true to that in this movie. And I wish movies today would really think about that again and be more intentional when and where they used it. But I know it costs a ton of money, but also CGI these days costs a freaking buku cash. So like, I don't know, kind of pick your poison.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know, like, but I'm with you. Like, I think it's great. And I think the fact that they were on that ship and all the different gold pieces and like the different, the skeletons and the stuff that they built and had there, like to act around. And I think, you can tell when something's blue screen or green screen, like no matter what, like in fact, I was watching The Last of Us season 2 and they're walking through Seattle. And I understand that like, you can't have like this grand landscape of Seattle 30 years from now, all run down and overgrown and shit, because the world's ended. But like, the fact that there was one scene, and I don't remember what it was, but they were standing basically in a room, and I was like, "You really put green screen for a room?"
Yeah, it's like you could have built aspects of the room and then superimpose the rest of it behind. Like that's just lazy.
I was like, it's not even like a big set piece to build. Like I'm pretty sure it was like a couple of desks and some fucking. I was like, I'll come build it for you, for crying out loud! Like Jesus, like the hell, it's great, but you can tell because like it doesn't look natural, right? Like it looks, and so I love the fact that that's one of my favorite parts of no matter how bad an old 80s or early 90s movie is. I love that I don't look at it and go, was that green screen? Like, or I look at it and go, fuck, that's green screen. I go, look, they're in a cave, you know what I mean? Or they're in a set that's been made to look like a cave, and then there's a big ass fucking 105-foot ship in a sound stage filled with water, you know. And then if you watch a shitty out or cut scene, there's a really crappy octopus that's actual props and touching them on the legs and shit that they cut out because it looked horrible. But they got to make those choices, right? Whereas the CGI, the other thing that CGI to me does is it empowers movies to do things that they shouldn't. It was like, oh, we can CGI it. I would be curious if Goonies were made today by the same group of people, would we still have an octopus scene in there? Because, oh, we can make a bitchin' looking octopus with CGI. When in reality, the reason it worked when it cut it is because it didn't make sense to have the octopus there. Like, there's no value in that octopus. One, it looked like shit, but two, it didn't add to the story. They've been through enough. Like, they literally just got done fighting criminals and dealing with a freaking bunch of booby traps. Booty traps. That's what I said. Booty traps. and like, I mean, they just rode a cool ass water slide. Like, why do I give a shit about an octopus? Like, just let us see the ship and bask in the awe of that versus some of that. So I think that's also a testament to the geniuses that worked on this film. Like, look, you got two of the greatest writers and filmmakers with Spielberg and Chris Columbus, and then Richard Donner's no fucking slouch either when it comes to making movies. And so the level of genius there and capability that's there is a testament to this movie as well, and the choices that they made. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, the practical effect piece of this movie is huge because everything's real, you know, in some way, shape, or form, or at least made to look real. And I love it. Such good dialogue. Like, it's one of those movies, like, I watched it today and I was like, I want to watch it again now. Because, like, I just, yeah, it just makes me, I love it. And I'm surprised this was Josh Brolin's debut film. Like, with his dad being James Brolin, like, I'm surprised he wasn't in something before he was an old ass teenager. You know what I mean?
Good actor he is. What did I just watch with him?
I love Josh Brolin.
I can't even.
I love James Brolin. His dad was hella good too.
They're great. Oh, I was just watching American Gangster.
Oh,
that's what.
Yeah.
He that's not a movie. He's the star, but even the dude just steals scenes.
Yeah.
Anyways, but what a great actor.
What was the movie, Alec? What was the name? And maybe I'm just asking you because you live in Arizona, but what was the movie about the Prescott firefighters?
Ooh,
you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Like Flame Jumpers or something like that. I don't remember. He
Only
was
the
in
brave.
it.
Only the brave.
Yeah. One, I served in Scottsdale, so I was a little drive away from Prescott. I've been to Prescott many times. I've seen that tree before the fires happened. I saw them, and it wild, like, that story. So for me, like, watching that movie is very harrowing because I'm very familiar with the area, and it, like I said, had been there before that fire happened. But he in that movie, oh my god, him and Miles Teller, dude, so good in that movie. If you haven't seen it, Mattson, you should watch it.
No, I haven't.
It'll gut your ass. It'll rip you to like. It's so emotional and hard to watch, and it's based on a true story.
What's it called again?
Home
Only
of the Brave.
brave.
Hard to watch. Very difficult story. Very sad story, but very, like, I don't know, inspiring story in a lot of ways as well. But like, it's a tough one. But Josh Brolin acts the shit out of that, and it's very good. But he's one of my favorites. People tell me Josh Brolin's in something.
I'll watch that in the next week. The movie I'm going to be watching any day now, I've been wanting to watch. I've never seen Heat, and been hearing a lot about that movie lately.
Love Heat. I just recently watched that with Casey.
Yeah, you talked about it too, and I was like, oh man, I got to watch that.
Be prepared to watch it in chunks. It is a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, I know it's long, but
it's really good. It's got one of the greatest action sequences in cinematic history, in my opinion. But
I'm excited.
So good. Anyway, Josh Brolin, add that to the list. Alec and I were talking about, and hey, if you're still listening to this episode of the podcast, go to Patreon and chime in for free because you can. But Alec and I were talking about when you were out of town we should do like, we've done a lot of like themed movie months. We should do like, we've only done one actor movie and it was tied to a sports theme with Kevin Costner. But like we were talking about, we should just do like a Josh Brolin month. And we just do movies that star Josh Brolin. So I would do Josh Brolin in a heartbeat. He's got some weird ones like No Country for Old Men. Good God, what a great movie.
What a great movie that is.
And he was phenomenal in that. Anyway, Goonies. I was very happy that I got to pick this one. Should we rate it?
Let's do it.
Okay. Easy 5 for me. No questions. Like I said, this is up there as one of my favorite movies of all time. And I wore this VHS out. Yes, I had it on VHS because that's what I had back then. I wore this out. My parents bought me 3 different versions of this on VHS because I watched it that much that I just wore it out. I remember there was a piece when Sloth and Chunk come tearing down the sail and the knife, and they're like, it got fuzzy because the tape was so fucking, because I had to rewind it and watch that part because it was so good. Anyway, love this movie. It's a 5. I'll watch it anytime with anyone, and it'll make me feel just as happy and enjoyable as any time that I've ever watched it. I may enjoy it more as an adult than I did as a kid, if that's possible. It's just so good. So there it is. 5 for me. Go watch Goonies because it's awesome. Mattson.
Yeah, this movie is an easy 5 as well. It's not, I don't carry the weight of nostalgia. Weight's the wrong word. I wish we all have our movies. Like Heavyweights for me is that movie where this movie is better than Heavyweights for sure, just in terms of writing and what it represents. But this movie just makes, like I said, transports you back to your childhood, puts you on an adventure that you wish you had. Very quotable, stands up through the test of time. Just like it says, Goonies never die.
That's right. Alec.
Oh, let's just make it 5s across the board.
Yeah.
This movie's, it's not even up there as like kids' summer movies. Like it's just up there as good movies.
Yeah.
And so I'll sit down and I'll watch Goonies anytime. 100%. Easy 5.
Yeah. Can I just say one more thing about it at the beginning? I love how we get introduced. Like during that chase sequence, like we see every single character doing something that's related to them, like Chunk fucking throwing pizza and shake against the window to watch the chase. Fucking Data pulling himself into the garbage can. It's just great. Still got a great, and the silly music that goes along with it. Love it. So good. And Joey Pants is one of my favorite people to watch. Anyway, there it is. Goonies. Alec, tell everybody where they can find this.
Happy to. So thank you for tuning in to week 4 of our summer movies month. And we've had a back-to-back of 5s across the board, which is a rare occurrence in this podcast ever since Mattson came back. Patreon's the place to get involved in the content. I mentioned it a couple times before, but like we said earlier, I think earlier this month I said it, this voting means a lot to us to have our movies picked. It is major bragging rights. There is behind the scenes throwdowns of making fun of retarded, stupid movies that people put in here. And so Patreon means a lot to us. Go vote. It's not going to cost you anything, but it is bragging rights for life with us. So,
and I own June, baby.
And JJ owns June.
That's right.
For the first time ever.
I know. Shut up.
It's ridiculous. But Patreon's place to find us there. Thank you to CB and Rich, Charles. You guys are amazing. Thank you for selecting the movies that go in these topics and for selecting topics for us. You guys are all that keeps JJ sane in this podcast. So appreciate you guys. And with that, I will kick it back to the Colossus of Clout, the Maharaja of MASH, a JJ.
That's right. I'm owning July too, just so you know.
Ah, shit.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, so there it is. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye. Hasta la vista, baby.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!